Shalom, Shabbat Yirah, giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rahakadash. Give me the spirit to do this lesson. Shalom to the elect of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, whom the Lord will have mercy on in these latter days. Shalom to the men of the Lord that are preaching and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, shalom. Real quick. I wanted to address this real quick. This just came through. Herman Cain here, it says he dies of COVID-19 after going to Trump's Tulsa rally. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up after this is just now occurring is because Esau-Edom is slick, man. You know, through the spirit. Now, I can't prove this, but through the spirit, I think Esau knows people ultimately, like, even though it's pushed in the media heavily, COVID-19, deaths and cases, but really not deaths, just really cases. He knows that the majority of people are not buying this, man. And through the spirit, I think you're gonna see a lot more higher profile people die of it, and it's gonna look like a nigga just like this, who was a coon, because they want to push this on Jake, ultimately. And don't be surprised if you see a lot more higher profile celebrities, quote unquote, pass away from this COVID-19 illness, which is bullshit, because Esau knows that one, Jake is waking up. You know, number two, he's not doing a very good job pitching it. I mean, anybody, a high schooler, can just poke holes and ask the right questions in the story about the mask, the health implications, and shutting and the idea that you shut down the entire economy for it based on historical illnesses that we've had. You know, so I want to get a couple scriptures, a couple precepts just to back it up, because that's what we do. We always have scriptures, but ultimately, I just wanted to say, you know, don't be swayed by this, man. You know, they're gonna use this type of stuff. Now, this guy did pass. It is what it is. But this guy was not of the Most High, man. He he looks like one of them bootlicking coons, you know, that just towed the line for the white man. He didn't get anything for it, you know. Well, I'm sure he lived his life, you know, with what they gave him or whatever. But you know, ultimately, this guy's not an example to follow, you know. And we are not to grieve this death, because remember, the Most High is against the 2/3, and that's if this nigga is even a Israelite. He could very well be be a Edomite, you know. Who knows? But either way, you know, the scriptures say we dwell in the house of mourning. You know, the wise dwell in the house of mourning. Anyway, but we're not to be in that camp of feeling bad for this guy, and just know that Esau-Edom is up to something, because he is the devil. That's what we're dealing with, you know. That's what you have to remember. This is Colossians, Salakia, 2 Corinthians, my bad, Salakia. 2 Corinthians 2:11 says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right, so be mindful of the things that we're seeing. I saw this is probably like the third or fourth celebrity or high-profile person that's died in the last week or two. Now, not all related to COVID-19, but you're gonna see more of that, you know. So I googled that, not Googled, but I looked through the blue letter for the word crafty. This is Job 5:12. It says he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise, because the elect are not going to be fooled there. If you're of the elect and you hear this word and you can see this and see through Esau-Edom from what he is, hey, you're okay, man. You know, this is just a warning that this devil is working his witchcraft. It says Job 15:5, "For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity, and thou choosest the tongue of the crafty." Psalms 83:3, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." And we know that this has been, you know, a trait and characteristic of Esau-Edom. And this scripture fits a whole slew of scenarios, but it fits here as well, you know, because he's been plotting against us this entire time, you know, the entire time. This is Psalms 10:7. It says his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So the scriptures, man, and there are more precepts on this too. So the scriptures are very, very, very clear about the nature of this devil that we're dealing with. You know, he's going to try to use whatever he can to convince people. He wants to try to convince people to do things voluntarily. But see, all the while he's already plotting to use the sword, to use violence if he needs to, or when he needs to. Look at verse 8. It says, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, and the secret places doeth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. So that's what we're dealing with. That's why the Spirit has to be dealing with you. When you see things like this, your spirit doesn't get moved or tugged by it, because at the end of the day, this nigga was a goddamn politician, man, thinking that this system is going to make it, you know? And he's not going to have any major glory in the kingdom. He doesn't have the same chance that you as an Israelite have by holding on to the faith, you know, of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, making it through that hour of temptation, being scarcely saved by holding on to that, fearing the Lord and loving the Lord, you know. This guy is not in that camp. That's if he's an Israelite, you know. So he's out of here, man, you know. Just don't be fooled by the nonsense that you're gonna see over the next several weeks, months. Because hey, this place might have less than a year left, man. I think this is the last one I want to get. I meant to have this quick. It says, this is Psalms 12:2. As they speak vanity, everyone with his neighbor, with flattering lips and with a double heart do they speak, because they're trying to say it like, oh, we just looking out for you. This is we want the vaccine to go to so-called black people. You know, that's what they're planning. That's what they want. But the scriptures say they have flattering lips with a double heart. You know, so this is not, they're not to be trusted. And you know, the watchmen stay watching, man. You know, bring it out. So with that, hopefully you brothers were edified. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rachak Wadash Wa Abad Babal.